So as I stated in the introductory video, both commuter rail networks and rapid transit networks are successful in bringing riders into the central business district during the morning commute period and away from the central business district during the evening commute period. But the distinguishing factor between the two types of systems is their ability to service passengers outside of these hours and for trips outside of those either beginning or ending in the central business district. So in this video, what we're going to do is take a look at the off-peak service frequencies of the Sydney Trains network and compare them to those of the DC Metro system, which is a rapid transit system, and the Long Island Railroad network, which is a commuter rail system, as part of our debate as to whether the Sydney Trains network is more of a commuter rail network or a rapid transit network. I've pulled up a map of the Sydney Trains network to show you that we're going to be focusing on areas outside of this city loop here. And that's because most of the lines in the network, that's all lines besides the T5 Cumberland line, the T6 Carlingford line, and the T7 Olympic Park line, the latter two of which are really minor lines. All the other lines run together in this city loop here, and that gives riders really high service frequencies throughout most hours of the day when they're traveling within this city loop, but you can see it's a really small portion of the entire network. So we're going to see how well the Sydney Trains network services riders outside of this confined city loop area. The first trip we're going to be taking a look at is the trip starting at Liverpool Station and ending at Cabramatta Station just after 12 p.m. on a Monday. So I pulled up the Sydney Trains trip planner for the trip beginning at Liverpool Station and ending at Cabramatta Station just after 12 p.m. on Monday, April 12th. You'll see we have trains at 12:02, 12:06, 12:17, 12:32, 12:36, 12:47, 1:02 p.m. and 1:04 p.m. So that's a 4-minute wait, an 11-minute wait, a 15-minute wait, another 4-minute wait, 11-minute wait, and a 15-minute wait. So this cycle seems to be continuing. 4, 11, 15. So that's on average around a 10-minute wait between trains. When you look at the map, you'll see that the stretch between Liverpool and Cabramatta stations is served by 3 lines. The T5 Cumberland line shown here in pink, the T2 Airport Inner West and South line shown here in green, and the T3 Bankstown line shown here in orange. However, if you move a little bit further north, you'll notice that the segment between Cabramatta and Yenora stations is only served by 2 lines, namely the T5 Cumberland line and the T2 Airport Inner West and South line. So let's see, when we look at this segment, how frequently we can get trains between Cabramatta and Yenora station. We'd expect the frequencies to be a little bit worse than the segment between Liverpool and Cabramatta stations, but let's see how it pans out. So I pulled up the Sydney Trains trip planner for the trip beginning at Cabramatta station and ending at Yenora station just after 12 p.m. on Monday, May 12th. You'll see we have a train departing at 12:07, one at 12:11, next one's at 12:37, then 12:41, then 1:07 p.m., then 1:11 p.m., then 1:37 p.m. So you can see we have bunching, so a 4-minute wait, then a 26-minute wait, 4:26. So an average of 15 minutes between trains, and that's compared to 10 minutes on this stretch between Liverpool and Cabramatta. So 15 between Cabramatta and Yenora, and 10 between Liverpool and Cabramatta. Now let's look at the trip between Chatswood and Epping just after 12 p.m. on Monday, May 12th. I pulled up the trip planner here for the trip beginning at Chatswood and ending at Epping just after 12 noon on Monday, May 12th. You'll see we have a train departing at 12:01 p.m., one at 12:16, one at 12:31, 12:46, 1:01. So that's an even 15 minutes between successive trains. Now we're going to look at frequencies for the trip beginning at Kogara station here and ending at Hurstville station here. So from Kogara we have trains departing, and this is again on Monday, May 12th, just after 12 p.m. at 12:05, 12:15, 12:28, 12:35, 12:46, and 12:58. So that's 10 minutes, 13 minutes, 7 minutes, 11 minutes, 12 minutes. Then we look at some more times, 1:05, so 7 minutes, 10 minutes. On average, we seem to be seeing wait times of 10 minutes between trains. So now for comparison's sake, we're going to look at train frequencies for some trips on the Washington, D.C. Metro Rail system, which is a rapid transit system. We're first going to take a look at the trips starting at Dunloring Merrifield Station and ending at West Falls Church Station on the Orange Line. Pull up the DC Metro trip planner and you can see we have a train departing at 12:14 p.m. Next one departing at 12:26. The next one departing at 12:38. So that's an even 12 minutes between trains. Now we're going to look at the trip from Eisenhower Avenue to Huntington on the yellow line. Again, that's from Eisenhower Avenue to Huntington. This is just after 12 p.m. on Monday, May 12th, just as all the Sydney Trains trips that we've taken a look at so far were. So you can see here we have a train departing at 12:09 p.m. Next one departs at 12:21, and then we have one at 12:33, so that's an even 12 minutes between successive trains. Now for the other side of the comparison, we're going to look at some train frequencies of a commuter rail network, once again on May 12th, which is a Monday, around 12 p.m. Here I've pulled up a map of the Long Island Railroad commuter rail network, which serves the greater New York City area. The first trip we're going to take a look at is the trip starting at Valley Stream Station here and ending at Rockville Center Station here. Okay, so I pulled up the Long Island Railroad trip planner, and you can see we have trains departing at 11:42, 11:56, but then 12:42 and 12:56. So we have a 14-minute wait, but then we have a 46-minute wait, a 14-minute wait, and a 46-minute wait. So there is bunching, but the base wait is 14 minutes, but it can be as high as 46 minutes. So that's an average of 30 minutes between trains. And another thing to note is half of these trips involve a transfer at Jamaica Station. And if you look at the map, you can see to get from Valley Stream to Rockville Center, transferring at Jamaica until having to actually go backward and then take a train that'll take you back to Rockville Center. So it's quite the circuitous route. The next trip we're going to take a look at is the trip between Bethpage Station and Babylon Station, leaving Bethpage once again on May 12th, 2014, which is a Monday. So here's the trip planner showing schedules for trips departing Bethpage Station for Babylon Station. You can see you have trains at 11:05 a.m., 11:44 a.m., 12:05 p.m., 12:44 p.m., and then 1:44 p.m. So that's a 39-minute wait, a 21-minute wait, a 39-minute wait, and then a 1-hour wait. And most of these trips here involve a transfer at Jamaica Station. Going from Bethpage to Babylon, transferring at Jamaica Station would entail having to backtrack quite a ways and then take another train that ends up taking you to Babylon. And this trip here actually involves two transfers, one at Jamaica and the next at Minola. So that trip would entail having to go to Jamaica and take another train transfer to yet another train at Minola Station here and take that train to Babylon. So you can see this is also an incredibly circuitous route. So far, based on all the trips we've taken a look at departing around 12 p.m. on May 12th, which is a Monday, we've noticed that the train frequencies of the Sydney Trains network more resemble those of the Washington, D.C. Metro Rail system than they do those of the Long Island Railroad commuter rail network. And we picked 12 p.m. because that's basically between the morning and evening commute periods. The morning commute period somewhere between 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. The evening commute periods generally between 3:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. So now that we've looked between those two commute periods, we're going to take a look at some trips around 9:30 p.m., which is a couple hours after the end of the evening commute period. The first trip we're going to take a look at is the trip starting at Liverpool station here and ending at Cabramatta station here. 9:30 Monday, May 12th, 2014. So we can see here we have trains departing at 9:42 p.m., 9:51 p.m., 10:12 p.m., 10:42 p.m., 11:12 p.m., and then 11:42 p.m. So we have a 9-minute wait, a 13-minute wait, and then the waits get to be 30 minutes from 10:12 on out. And that's because after 10:12 you wouldn't expect there to be that many riders. But before 10:12 you can see the train frequency is still pretty good. Now we're going to look at the trip on Monday, May 12th, departing Cabramatta station for Yanora station just after 9:30 p.m. So you can see here we have trains departing at 9:47 p.m., 9:56 p.m., 10:17 p.m., 10:47 p.m., 11:17 p.m., 11:47 p.m. So we have a 9-minute wait, a 21-minute wait, and then after 10:17, even 30-minute waits between trains. But before 10:17, you can see the train frequency is still pretty decent here. Now let's look at train frequencies for trips starting at Chatswood and ending at Epping on Monday, May 12th, just after 9:30 p.m. So we have trains departing at 9:31, 9:46, 10:04, 10:13. Then the wait times increase. So we have trains departing at 10:43, 11:15, and 11:46. So we have a 15-minute wait, an 18-minute wait, a 9-minute wait, and then wait times of 30 minutes or more. But you'll see until 10:15 or so, just like the last two trips we examined, the wait times aren't really all that bad. Finally, we're going to look at the trip departing Kogara station here for Hurstville station here just after 9:30 p.m. on Monday, May 12th. We have trains departing Kogara for Hurstville at 9:35 p.m., 9:45, 9:58, 10:05, 10:15, 10:28, 10:45, and 10:58. So we have a 10-minute wait, a 13-minute wait, a 7-minute wait, a 10-minute wait, a 13-minute wait, and then a 17-minute wait. So you can see here, even after 10:15 p.m., the frequencies don't drop off all that much. Until 10:15 p.m. we seem to have average wait times of around 10 minutes, and then the average goes up to roughly 15 minutes or so, and that's extremely good for this late into the night. Now that we looked at several trips for the Sydney Trains network departing around 9:30 p.m. on a Monday, we're going to look at how they stack up with comparable trips on the Washington, D.C. Metro Rail system and the Long Island Railroad commuter rail system. First, we're going to take a look at a couple trips on the DC Metro system. The first trip we're going to take a look at is the trip departing Dunloring Merrifield Station for West Falls Church Station. I pulled up the trip planner for the trip departing Dunloring Merrifield Station for West Falls Church, and you'll see we have trains at 9:51 p.m., 10:11 p.m., and 10:31 p.m. So that is an even 20 minutes between successive trains. Next, we're going to look at train frequencies for trips just after 9:30 p.m. on a Monday, departing Eisenhower Avenue for Huntington Station. So we have trains departing Eisenhower Avenue at 9:34 p.m., 9:49 p.m., and 10:09 p.m. So that's 15 minutes between 9:34 and 9:49, and 20 minutes between 9:49 and 10:09 p.m. So these waits we've looked at are roughly in line with those of the Sydney Trains network around this time. Now we're going to look at train frequencies for a couple trips on the Long Island Railroad commuter rail network just after 9:30 p.m. on Monday, May 12, 2014. The first trip is going to be that departing Valley Stream Station for Rockville Center Station. You can see here we have trains departing Valley Stream at 9:02 p.m., 9:08 p.m., 9:30 p.m., 10:13 p.m., and 10:26 p.m. It's a 6-minute wait here, a 22-minute wait here, then a 43-minute wait here, and a 13-minute wait here. So the waits can get as high as 43 minutes. Another important thing to keep in mind is some of these transfers occur at Lynbrook Station while others occur at Jamaica Station. Going to the map, if you transfer at Lynbrook, that's pretty much a direct trip between Valley Stream and Rockville Center. However, if you transfer at Jamaica, you're going to have to backtrack all the way here and then catch another train that'll take you here. Going back to the schedules, you can see that the trip durations for trips involving a transfer at Lynbrook Station are anywhere from 16 to 23 minutes. However, those for trips involving a transfer at Jamaica Station range from 1 hour 7 minutes to 1 hour and 12 minutes. So trips involving a transfer at Jamaica Station are incredibly circuitous. Now we're going to take a look at train frequencies for trips between Bethpage and Babylon, starting at Bethpage around 9:30 p.m. on Monday, May 12, 2014. You'll see we have trains departing Bethpage at 8:33 p.m., then 9:45 p.m., and 10:44 p.m., 11:14 p.m., and then 1:15 a.m. So you can see all these waits are really long. We have 1 hour 12-minute wait here between 8:33 p.m. and 9:45 p.m. Then a 59-minute wait here, then a 56-minute wait, and finally here a 1 hour 35-minute wait. And all but one of these trips involve a transfer at Jamaica Station. Going to the map, you can see that would mean going from here to here, but having to go through here. And that's reflected in the trip times. You can see for what should be a really short trip, having to go through Jamaica Station makes the trip take anywhere from 1 hour 37 minutes to 1 hour 52 minutes. However, when you transfer at Hicksville Station, which is here, you do still have to backtrack, but nowhere near as much as you would if you had to transfer at Jamaica Station. And you can see the trip entailing a transfer at Hicksville Station is much shorter at 31 minutes. All in all, we've noticed that the train frequencies off-peak on a weekday for the Sydney Trains network are far more in line with those of the Washington, D.C. Metro system, which is a rapid transit network, than they are with those of the Long Island Railroad commuter rail network, which is a commuter rail system. In the next video, we'll look at weekend service frequencies of the Sydney Trains network and compare them to those of the DC Metro system and the Long Island Railroad network to continue the debate as to whether the Sydney Trains network is more of a rapid transit network or a commuter rail network.